Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to cover your most asked questions about KDP. Ever since my first video I listed about KDP, many of you have messaged me, personally on Facebook mostly, but I got some emails, Facebook messages, Facebook comments, and people had follow-up questions because on the last video I posted, I forgot what I said, but most likely this month, which I'm filming this in January of 2024, I'm going to pass 10,000 in KDP. And people are like really excited, which is great. And they have a lot of questions. They want to do it themselves. And I made a few videos with comments about KDP. And so I now, if I haven't already, I want to put it all in one video. So first of all, I just ate chicken with hot honey and my mouth is like on fire. And while I remember some of the questions you guys had, I'm also going to go into a very popular KDP group and answer some questions from there. I did not prep for this video. I'm just going to do it like I'm going to wing it, okay? Before I get started, if you guys know me for a while or have been following my recent videos, have you noticed a change in my personality? I think I have. I'm asking because I told you guys I'm on ADHD medicine. I'm trying to see what works best for me. Okay. And I feel like my personality has changed a bit. It's not horrible. Unless you tell me it is, but it's not a horrible change. Like, I don't feel horrible about it. I just feel different. I feel slower in terms of how I speak. My thoughts are not as racing. And you might say that's the point of taking medicine like that. Understood, but I don't like it. I miss my fast talking, fast thinking personality. So I'm curious if you noticed a difference, and if you did notice a difference, I don't want to tell you too much. Comment below what you think the difference is. My doctor did say that if you ask people that know you, if they notice a difference, that may help give you insight, because it's a little hard for me to recap what I think. Sometimes it's hard to feel. Anyway, so let's move on. Okay, so a few things I want to cover on my own based on what people have told me is people get really excited about my results on KDP and they're like, you know, I want to do it too. This is the type of book I want to publish. I'm like, fantastic. However, if you're trying to do it, sorry, the spiciness. If you want to do it because you're like, wow, Dahlia's making 10 grand a month and she only did it for like 4+ months, whatever. I want to do it too. Just know, depending on the niche you want to get into, an example is somebody messaged me and they want to write a children's book. That's great. But in order to make money, let's break this down. In order to make money on KDP, people have to buy your book. Understood? Right. However, in order for people to buy your book, they have to find your book in search. Whether they type something in and found it, or they got the link somehow, whether you advertised to them, whether an influencer showed them your book, whether I personally sent my link to friends and family because they were interested in buying my book, whatever, right? So they have to be able to find your book, whether they find it in search or whether it was given to them in it was presented to them in some form or fashion, okay? So marketing can be hard for many of us. So if you're relying on search, right? If you're doing nothing else except creating the book and making it a beautiful book and publishing it, this is a difficult task, especially if you're, for example, the person that messaged me recently is in the children's book niche. Okay, she wants to create a children's book. And unless you have a huge following, again, that's marketing, you cannot rely on search to bring you a whole bunch of money. And when I say a whole bunch of money, I'm not even talking about tens of thousands of dollars like I'm making on KDP. I'm talking about even tens and 20s and 30s of dollars each month. You might say, you mean to tell me if I create a children's book, I won't make 10, 30, 20, $100 a month? Probably not, because there's so many out there. And unless you create a children's book, this is an example, that is in a niche that is on the rise and nobody has really done it before, then maybe you'll probably get some decent sales. For example, imagine there's a huge epidemic going on recently that a whole bunch of people are bullying kids. Obviously, we know that's been going on for a while, but the purpose of this example is to show you that imagine that has never been a problem before and now is a problem. And if you're a children's book creator, you would say, oh my God, I'm going to create children's books all around bullying, how to help kids understand how to deal with it, how to, all this stuff, create a whole series. You're most likely going to get sales because people are going to be searching for children's books on bullying, how to, whatever, right? And so, because it could help the child, understand how to deal with it. But as you may know, it might be very slim for you to come across, a recent uprise of niches within the children's book category that nobody else has done. And you have to be on it very quickly. So if there is a recent epidemic or something interesting really happens within the children, thing, you have to be able to publish immediately because everybody else will also be trying to as well. So I'm saying all this to tell you that if you have the dream of publishing something, unless it's something that is searchable, okay, and people are searching for it and it is not highly saturated, right, then don't expect much. And here's why I also say this, because I belong to several KDP groups and I see these posts all the time. Where people are like, I published 30 books in the last few months and no sales. And I have a total of 140, still no sales. And I know what the reason is. I know exactly the reason. Actually, there's probably a few reasons. One of them, your cover sucks, one of them, the content sucks, etc. But the reality is, right, while I do want you to have a good cover and good content, if you don't pick a niche that is in demand and in the ratio of, high demand and low saturation, you're going to be spinning in circles, creating books, and nobody's buying. You're wasting your time, okay? Coincidentally, in my niche that I created, that I went into, it is not as highly saturated. I found it, golden nugget, and it is not an easy niche to find. Okay, so I'm a unicorn, if you will. This example I'm doing is a unicorn. However, you might say, then if I can't get a unicorn deli, then why am I bothering? No, you can get close to it. There's definitely some things that, so I was able to create over 10 grand a month within several months. Maybe you don't have that as a goal, but maybe you could create 1,000 a month or 500 a month in several months. It's not bad. It's pretty good. So you have to be able to do niche research. I posted a video on that on my channel. Look for it. Okay. So let's go to the group. So that's the biggest thing I want people to understand, is that just because you're publishing a book and you're inspired by my results doesn't mean you're going to get results. Okay. It took me a while to find that niche. You have to be, doing your due diligence to look for niches, okay? So again, I'm going to answer popular questions, most asked questions. If I remember one that people ask me personally, I will mention it. One person asked, is it possible to get KDP sales without running ads? So first of all, I want to answer the question like this. Yes, of course it is. But I don't think she actually means to ask that question. I think she means to ask the likelihood, okay? The likelihood of getting sales. Everything is possible, right? But that's not what she's looking for. She's looking for the norm, okay? The norm will depend on the niche you're in. If you are in a saturated niche, it's probably best you do run ads, but you better have a great cover, great title, and great content, okay? Great listing setup, great description, everything, okay? Because if you're running ads, you're paying per click, okay? So it's possible to get sales without running ads. I don't run ads because my niche is not saturated and it's high demand. But if I wasn't in such a niche, I probably would be running ads, okay? Now, for those people who have run or are wondering, running ads and not making much money, they're spending a lot but not making. There's a good chance that, you have to remember how ads work, okay? People type something in search and they see your ad. It says sponsored, right? They click on it, which is why you get charged, and they don't buy. So you have to understand what was the disconnect between what they searched for and your book. So if somebody searches for children's book to teach about bullying or something, how to handle bullying, whatever, and they see your book pop up, there's several things that go through the potential customer's mind. And one, does it address my concerns? Is it the age group? Think about it. If you're a parent and you're looking for this, what would you be wanting if you wanted to purchase this? I know everybody starts out new, okay, so hear me out, but I would look for reviews to see what other parents thought. I would look to see inside the listing, see if I can see example pages of what it teaches. I would look to see if it provides, if you purchase the book, maybe a page in the book has like a QR code I can scan to get additional free resources. Like, think of all the things that will help me decide to click purchase. Okay, friendly looking characters people could relate to, like people that look like, you know, if I want to get something for my daughter, possibly I'd probably want the kid to look similar to her, right? So having books with different ethnicities and things of the sort, different age groups, etc. So think about that when you're running ads. If you're running ads and you're spending too much money and you're not making enough sales, then it's most likely the disconnect between what the customer's searching for and what your book is, and or the cost of the click. So you might have to adjust your bids. I don't run ads right now on KDP, but I'm sure you can adjust the bid count, the bid amount, okay? So let's look for another most frequently asked question. And by the way, if you have questions down below, ask and I will answer in the YouTube comments, okay? Okay. Another thing is you can't put fake reviews up, okay? Amazon will catch you. You can't tell your friends and family, hey, buy my book for the purpose of leaving me a review. Do people do it? Sure. Don't be dumb and copy people. Don't do it, because it will get you shut down eventually. And if you build, let's just say it doesn't. Let's say months and months pass by and you're doing it and there's no problem. You don't want to rely on that income, because one day they may find you. It's like, this is a bad example, but it's like murdering somebody and you get away with it. And then 10, 20 years later, you don't know. Is somebody watching you? Did they open the cold case again? Are they going to try you for murder and you'll be in jail? I don't know. You don't want to build a life and all of a sudden you go to jail because, well, first of all, don't murder somebody, but you don't want to build this life and then thought you were home free and now you're being put to jail for life and you had wife, kids, etc., right? So what I'm saying is, don't do stupid things, because if you build, like me, I'm building an account that's, my goal is to make quite a bit of money per month. I mean, 50,000 plus. I know it's extreme, but bear with me. And I'm not going to do something stupid, because while I don't particularly rely on KDP income, it's certainly going to be nice to have it. And if I lose it because I did something stupid, was it worth it? Probably not. Okay, so let's continue. So covers. Okay, let's talk about covers for a second. This is not really a popularly asked question, but something I want to address. I see the most shittiest covers on KDP. Now, some of those shitty covers do get purchased, okay? But, you know, if you want to succeed on KDP, because there's so many people that entered the market, because it's actually not very difficult to enter the market. Meaning, if I told you, hey, go be a rocket scientist, and you will get paid $50 million a year. That's an extreme amount, but let's just say $1 million a year. It's not easy for us to be a rocket scientist. We have to go to schooling, etc., right? I don't know what it entails. But if I told you join KDP and you could make $1 million a year, you might say, hell yeah. What do you have to really learn, right? I mean, there are some things, but it's easy to enter this space. Having said that, because there's a low friction to enter, many people will enter it. And that's why you might see on KDP thousands and thousands and millions of books that have shitty covers, because you have people uploading books that are not real publishers, that are not real designers, that are not real whatever. And yes, some of those shitty books do sell, but it's not a good strategy for the long term, okay? You have to do the best you can in order to rise above the sea of shitty people there. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope it does, because this is a really important thing. Meaning, you should aim to be the best at cover design. You should be, and this is how I roll, okay? So just take notes if you want. I watched and researched, and you don't even understand, many different things to help me understand the psychology, and maybe this is a little extreme, but behind book covers, okay, and what people purchase. Now, of course, it still matters the niche you're in, it still matters the content, it still matters like you have quality content where people will leave reviews, and if you have the best cover in the world, literally, and people leave shitty reviews, people are not going to buy it, right? So, but I was trying to find everything in my control, right? Covers is one of them, and be the best at it. And we're still looking to improve, and I create my covers on Canva, so so don't think that but it's, people still create it on Canva sometimes, but they don't know how to put things together. And so it looks like the book was created on Microsoft Word, cover design, whatever. So I urge you to understand and research if you really want to make this something and to sustain long term. You really want to understand what makes a good cover design. This is not an overnight thing. It doesn't mean you shouldn't publish your first book or second book or third book until you perfect a cover. No, but it should always be something you should be looking to improve, okay? So, all right. Let's see. If you're looking to create a book that takes you, I don't know, weeks and months to create, I don't know what you guys are doing, novels, I don't know, okay? Again, you spend so much time on it, and you publish it. Sure, you want to do many of those, but the reality is if you don't have a marketing plan, if nobody's searching for that book or that book genre or whatever, or it's really saturated, then you're going to fail. And while it's okay to publish books that just make you feel good, like I'm a published author, I really want to write this. Sorry, I'm getting congested while I'm talking. But if you're watching this, I'm assuming you're doing it to make money. Yes, you want to put good content out, but you're doing it to make money. You better have a content marketing plan. Let me give you an example. Example is you're writing blog posts about the topic. So if you are writing children's books about bullying, maybe you write you create a blog and you do SEO research on Google to write a whole bunch of, blog posts and such about the topics of children and bullying. Okay. And of course that would you would recommend your books in all these blog posts. Okay. That's a method. Okay. Should it be the only method? No. Some of these blog posts can go viral, can, do really well on Google search if you know how to do SEO research properly. I, for one, know how to do SEO research properly when I do my blogging. Excuse me. But I have some blogs that I wrote not too long ago, and they're getting hundreds of clicks a day. Okay? So it's very possible, if you are in the right niche, to market a book using a blog. Another way is running ads. Obviously, that costs money, whether you run it on Google, whether you run it on Facebook, wherever, okay? Another way is to use social media. That is not my expertise. I'm just letting you know that's an option. I'm not good at it. Another way is using influencers. That's a really big thing over the last several years, and when done right, it can really do a lot of good for you, okay? Just throwing that out there. Sorry, I'm congested. All right, let's move on, okay? Okay, so people are asking what programs do they use to create, KDP books. So I highly recommend Canva for covers, okay? 1000% easy to use, should not even be a thing to think about, okay? KDP has cover calculators. So if you tell it, hey, I want to make a book that's 6x9 and it has 45 pages, then it will tell you the exact cover size. Okay. So you'd put that in Canva and you would add margins to it because it tells you the margins where you cannot put text, on it. and boom, you can save that template and create it for every 6x9 book that has 45 pages. Next, I use InDesign for my book layout, like the content of the book. You don't need to. There's other things you can use. I personally don't know what that is because I don't use it, but I've heard of people using Canva for one. I heard people using, what is it called? PowerPoint. I heard people doing that. I'm sure people use Microsoft Word. I don't even know how you would set up things properly in there, but I would probably recommend Canva in that case. There might be some other tools that are more popular that are easy. I just don't know what they are. Okay. SEO research when it comes to KDP. That's another, idea you might want to get a tool on. I simply use the Amazon search bar and Merchant Words. Is Merchant Words, which is subscription based, is that necessary? Not particularly. It really does help a bit. I'm not sure if it will make or break your book, but I think it will certainly help. I use it for my regular Amazon account. Obviously, you guys know I sell on Amazon, and SEO is like I'm an SEO ninja. It's what I do. So of course I have that tool. Okay. There's a lot of other fancier tools when it comes to SEO for Amazon. They might be actually better. I may be missing out, but Merchant Words works just well for me. If you're just starting, I don't suggest that. I suggest using the Amazon search bar. I suggest then having a good foundation of understanding how to do SEO research just with the search bar. Okay. Okay, another person asked, I've gotten some books approved. My question is, I don't really have social media to promote. I don't think my family's allowed to order and leave reviews, are they? They are, but no. Don't do it because Amazon will find out and assume you may have done it on purpose, okay? But they can technically, okay? Let's see. While I'm looking here, I do want to point out that let me get my thoughts together. Okay, I'm back. So another popular question people ask is, once you're actually creating the books, if you publish and you notice a typo, whether on the cover or inside, what do you do? Yes, you're able to re-upload a corrected manuscript. The inside of the content is called manuscript or cover. Okay, you're able to change it and that's it. It will update. However, if for some reason you've sold books prior to this and Amazon decided to pre-print some of your typo books, if somebody then places an order after the new uploaded manuscript gets done, somebody may end up purchasing a typo version, okay? Because it was still pre-printed in advance, all right? Let's see here. If you're wondering how to do niche research, again, this should take you a while. Is it possible for you to do niche research and find something like really golden within a couple hours? Sure, but it's not likely. It took me a while to get mine. And I mean, it just took a while, okay? Cumulatively, several months, if you will. So, and again, you could find it sooner, but I want to point out that if you should not spend a lot of your time creating the books to begin with. You should spend a lot of time with the niches, okay? Because if you spend months and months finding a niche and then put out the right book like I did, and now I'm making tens of thousands a month, the flip side is if you didn't do that and you created type of niche books, you could spend years and years waiting to make 10 grand a month. So what would you rather do? You'd rather probably go my route, okay? And that's an example route. Again, you might take a little bit longer, a little bit less to find something pretty decent. But again, I just rely on search to get sales. It doesn't mean I won't in the future do ads. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do ads. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do marketing because I don't do marketing. There's many different things. I just at this moment chose not to, and everything's working well for me. So I just urge you to really understand. It's really essentially product research, but in books, it's niches. Okay. Let's see if I can find additional questions. I feel like I'm at a loss for questions, even though the second I want to record this video, I had what felt like millions. Okay. So somebody asked the questions, what's your biggest challenges when it comes to self-publishing? Some people are like marketing. That is a big deal. I mean, if you have plenty of books, out there, it's not a really good strategy just to do regular niche research, which by the way, I did a long, long time ago, and I put out books and made probably $1 or $2 on each one. $1 or $2 is not bad, but unless you're selling hundreds and hundreds, it's not worth your time. Yes, there can be a time when, an evergreen type of book, which makes a few bucks on every sale, which is fine, by the way, can go viral and eventually keep selling and selling. It happened to one of my low content books. I don't do books like that anymore, but the reality is most of you listening to this should really come up with a plan to drive traffic, whether it is you're entering a high demand and low saturated category. So really SEO is your tactic. Whether you're like, yep, I'm really good at blogging, I'm going to do marketing via blogging because I know the blog topics within that world are not too hard to get to the top of Google search. Fantastic. Many things. You have to think of a plan, and there's many marketing ideas. Okay. So another question references if you upload a book, yes, it could be sold online in a lot of publishers' websites, such as Barnes and Nobles, Walmart, etc. Yes, it doesn't mean that physical Barnes and Nobles has your book in stock. Okay. It just means that online, somebody that goes to barnesandnobles.com can get your book. Okay. You will make less of a commission on that because it's outside of Amazon, but it's still something. So that's possible. Okay. Somebody wrote one of their issues is dedicating enough time to create books. And of course, she wrote marketing. So I personally, again, I have a team working with me, and so it's probably a little bit easier for me because I also run a full-time e-com business. But I have a person dedicated to this. Not only that, we have a system we follow. I talked about it before. I've got made fun of this. Some people made fun of me for this in a Facebook group, but I do have an SOP, okay? Standard operating procedure, meaning it's literally step by step what you have to do in order to, from start to finish, researching all the way to the end point of uploading a book to KDP. I do this because you never know, okay? We might have to re-reference it if we haven't done something in a while. For example, back in October, we stopped. Was it October? I forget. We stopped for several months. Yes, when my assistant went back to uploading books on KDP, she definitely had to make sure she used the SOP to refresh her memory. If for some reason my assistant leaves the company and I hire somebody else and I want her to do that, we have everything listed out step by step, okay? It's almost like a checklist of what to do, okay? Very detailed. So I find that saves us a lot of time because many people don't believe that we could upload as many books as we do each week, and it's good quality books, etc. without the SOP, while my assistant probably has it down packed. I felt like the system we created and how we do things and how we organize our day is one of our keys to our success because we wouldn't have been able to publish that many books. So I would highly suggest you figuring out a system, okay? Example, Monday, if you only have mornings available or at night after the kids go to bed and before you go to sleep, you have 2 hours a night. So, Monday you would do research, okay? For the next type of books you want to publish. Tuesday you would create the interiors, okay, of the books, and that goes into Wednesday as well. And Wednesday partially you would start creating covers, okay, and then so on and so on, okay. So I created the system down packed, okay. That's why I'd recommend if you don't have a lot of time and you definitely want to get started. Let's see what else here. Let's see. I really should have prepared for this in advance, but it's funny. I feel like I mentioned earlier, I feel like my medicine, I don't have any more racing thoughts. I feel like if I wasn't on my medicine, I would have a million different things I'd be talking to you about regarding KDP. And so while it makes my brain more quiet, I don't particularly care for it. I care for it in certain times, but otherwise, I find it very helpful to have these racing thoughts. I think a lot of, I wouldn't use the word success, but I feel like a lot of successes I had in business was due to my ADHD because of the ideas I thought of, and I'm able to multitask many different things in my mind, and it's really helped me. So I feel slow, not sluggish, but slow in my thoughts. Let me know if you notice a difference. Again, don't take my word for it. If you're like, nope, I think you're the same, then that's fine. I'm just curious if you do have an opinion. KDP has a maximum of 3 uploads per day, meaning you cannot upload more than 3 books a day. Okay, so you might say, okay, why do I care? Because while some people will complain that, okay, well, that's more than enough, fair. But for us, we were uploading 5 a day only during the weekdays, and now we are limited to 3, which means we can only upload 15, not 10. Okay, so 15, not 25. So fair enough, but if you are in the same market as me where you're able to upload many books, just know you have a cap of 3, okay? Just know also that if you want to do more, you could draft 3 books each day on the weekend. So if you don't work weekends, you could go on your KDP account, draft 3 books. Like, you just need the title and you hit save draft. And I just call it draft 1, draft 2, draft 3. And then the next day I do draft 1, draft 2, whatever. And so I am able to use it throughout the week if I wanted my assistant to upload 6 more books throughout the week. Okay? We don't, but that's just an option. Okay? Do not copy other people's content. Okay? It's just not the way to win. You're going to get caught. You're going to get shut down. There is content that's allowed to be republished, such as public domain type of content. Fair enough. It's not my expertise. I don't do it because everybody can do it. Again, that's a low point of entry. People are easily able to get that type of available text online and republish it. It doesn't really rock the boat. You're not going to make tons of money, okay? And if you're going to do this, while I don't look down on you if you want to make $100, $200 a month, fair enough. But you still might even have trouble doing that much if you're just getting books that are just easy to create, such as, for example, line journals. If you just took a journal like this, put strawberries on it, and there's only lines in it, that's a hard sell. There's plenty of people that do the same thing as you, unless you are the first to ride a niche that is new. So imagine, recently squirrels are just like all the rage. People love squirrels, okay? Fine. Then maybe you're the first to market or one of the first few to market to create squirrel designed line journals. Fine. You might do very well. If that's the business you're in, then you should understand how to spot trends and get on them fast. And you could create line journals. You could create planners with that, etc. For example, what's on the rise right now? Stanley tumblers, okay? Do those people that want to buy Stanley tumblers also want a journal with a Stanley cup? Maybe, okay? That's a bad example because you cannot use a trademarked name, copyright. Okay, don't do that. But that's just an example. It's right now trending, so you could put that on that. A squirrel is not owned, trademark or copyright by anybody, at least that I know of, okay? So you'd have to be first to market and understand how to do niche research within that category you're doing. So if you are doing line journals, you should be able to know what's trending every single day. By the way, this is also very useful when you're creating products generally. If you sell on Etsy and Amazon, and again, if you're interested in that and you're like, I want to learn how to do that, that's what I do. I'm releasing a course. The product the bestseller blueprint, which teaches you how to create a best-selling product, and that's part of it, the product research part, which can be applied to KDP, a portion of it, okay? Anywho, you cannot choose thicker paper on KDP. You could choose between a softback cover, a hardback cover, and a Kindle, okay? You could choose white paper or cream. You could choose black and white printing, which is cheaper, right? Versus color printing and premium color printing. Premium color printing costs more. So if I sell my book for $10, I may only pocket $2. This is just an example. But if I sold it in black and white, the inside, not the cover all could be color, then I might make $4 instead of $2. You get the point? Inside the creation of the listing, it will ask you what price do you want to put it as. And when you put the price, it will show you actually how much you will make in your pocket once that item sells, which is really great because that will vary depending on how big your book is. Whether you have 25 pages, whether you have 100 pages, the prices change. Whether you have black and white inside your book or color. All right. Somebody's like, is it okay to upload like 200 or 300 books under the same title, provided all the books have different subtitles and the books are low content? Yes and no. Yes, but I question the motive here. Amazon does not like a bad user experience. In fact, it's part of their guidelines. They don't like misleading the customer. Again, I don't know this person's intent. I don't know the type of books that it is. But for example, if I have this as a planner, okay, well, a planner is a bad idea. Okay, if I have this as an anxiety journal, and I have a certain particular interior, I cannot take the exact same interior and put it on different journals and call it the fun anxiety journal or the be anxiety in 100 days. Why? Because it's an assumption of the customer that if they run into the other one and they buy it, they don't expect to receive duplicate content inside. They expect to receive difference. You have to think about the user experience, okay? A line journal is a line journal. It doesn't matter. But this person's asking the same title, okay? So maybe it's the anxiety journal, and then the subtitle is different. Well, he says it's low content. So I really don't know. But it really just depends on if you're following the Amazon guidelines, okay? I personally don't order author copies. Some people like to see their book printed. We upload 15 books a week. I don't need to see every book printed for particular reasons. One, we did order in the beginning just to make sure everything was set up properly. We understand how to format our books properly. Once I understood it after several books I ordered, then I no longer need to order. I know exactly how to format my books so nothing gets cut off, everything gets printed right, etc. Okay? As long as you understand it, after you understand it, I don't think you have to keep buying your books unless for some reason you want your book. Okay? Let's see here. You do, if you set up a KDP account, one, you have to get approved, so Amazon may not approve you. I don't remember what the qualifications are, just FYI. You will have to provide a social security number, EIN, etc., because they have to report the amount of money you earn, no matter if it's $1 or more, okay? Because they don't know how much you're going to make before when you set up the account. So, can you use AI generated images or text in the KDP book? Yes, but you have to disclose. How will they know I disclosed, Dahlia? How would they know if I did that? I don't know. I just try to do the right thing. So as always, so if you are uploading something with an AI image in it or AI generated content, then just tell the truth. I don't know if ands or buts about it. I just do it. But you're allowed to, except that it cannot, like for example, you cannot create an AI generated image of Mickey Mouse, slap it on the cover, and say I own the rights to it. It's still of an image of Mickey Mouse. You don't own that. It's like me drawing Mickey Mouse and selling it on a shirt. I cannot do that. So you still cannot take trademarks and copyrights, put it within AI, and then get them. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. But otherwise, it should be fine. do your own research in terms of what's allowed and what's not, but that's a general thing, general statement. Okay. A lot of people talking about ad campaigns. I urge people who do ads, whether it's on Amazon regular or Amazon KDP, please watch that account. Please watch your ad account. You will most likely run up a bill and not realize it because you put too high of a budget, or you just don't know. And don't be fooled if you're getting X amount of clicks. X amount of clicks would cost you money and you still haven't gotten a sale. Don't tell me it's going to turn around and maybe in a week or so. Something's wrong with your book, especially if you had enough clicks that people didn't purchase and your market is not super heavily saturated, meaning, yes, they clicked on your book, but they're also shopping around because there's many options, okay? If they have many options, sure, it might cost you more to sell your book, but otherwise, you need to, before you start running ads, you need to make sure you have your actual book in all its glory, the content, the title, the cover, etc. Just, like really good, because you're just wasting your money. Okay? I'm trying to see if there's any other I'm trying to think of anything else you guys will ask about KDP. It's a lot of work. Again, whether or not you are relying on search like I do to get the sales, or whether you're marketing, which obviously is a lot of work in itself. It's the beauty of KDP is that, yes, it's a low point to entry. You don't have to actually create the product yourself in terms of printing and shipping. So that's the beauty of it. It's a completely digital run business, but there are still cons to it. And while there's many people that could enter, the best will rise and survive. And you have to be best at something, or some things, okay? Maybe somebody that uploaded a book of a simple journal that's doing really well, maybe there's something that they were really good at was, getting on top of a niche or a trend that trended really quick before anybody else did. That's a superpower on its own. If you could continue that, then you can make many best hits, right, in books. You get the point. This has to be something that you're really good at, or many things, in order to really survive on KDP. If you're starting out new, my suggestion is watch my videos, okay? Watch other people's videos, gather a lot of information, because you need to learn how to be good at several different of these things, because if you don't, you're just going to be in the sea, in the mass of other KDP sellers who are just churning book after book of garbage. Okay. I'm just being honest. And while this video, certain things I say may discourage you from doing KDP, then good, because I don't want you to waste your time if you realize, yeah, I'm not going to do all that work. I don't care about cover design. I don't care about doing niche product research all the time. Like, you got to pick and choose your battles. Can I start a business in a lot of different other things? Sure, but I don't want to, okay? Because I'm not willing to do everything, okay? That things entail, okay? I don't know. I feel like you guys may have additional questions, and right now my brain is not braining. So comment below if you have additional questions regarding KDP. Again, I'm only doing this video because many people have reached out to me since my first video. Again, my results are not common. You should not expect my results, because I did find a golden unicorn within niches when I was doing research. I don't think too many of those exist, okay? And what I'm also working on, because just because I found a golden niche, during research, doesn't mean I'm only relying on that. Me and my team, we're also working on perfecting, it was never a perfect one, but perfecting our book covers and perfecting our interiors. And because I want this to really be long-term, because guys, I still once in a while remember how well I'm doing on KDP, and I'm still flabbergasted by it, okay? And I'm not doing this so you can be like, yes, I want to do the same thing too. I'm getting started, because you have to be realistic. But I hope it inspires you to show you that I'm not just selling for just any book. It took me a while to get here. You guys have no idea. But I think about the results, and I hope this inspires you in anything you want to do. Yesterday, I did $653. That's my profits. Like, the book sold for much higher than that, okay, in total. I pocketed $653 yesterday. If you remember, I started sometime in June, I think second week of June, and there's been several weeks in that time until we stopped, which was second week of October, I think, or first week of October, that we couldn't, work on books, especially we were slower in the beginning. So I would easily say that July, August, September. You're looking at collectively maximum of 3 months of work. That's it. I'm telling you right now. I'm not even lying. And we haven't touched it up until recently. We started uploading again because we got busy with holiday season. And the books we just uploaded the last couple of weeks, I think like 1 or 2 have sold. So forget that for a second. That doesn't count. So we haven't touched it since sometime in the beginning of October, and I'm going to be making 10 grand a month. It's the 11th of the month now. This day is not over, and I already have $5,011 pocketed. Like, I get to pocket that. Yes, I have to pay taxes on that. Obviously, to pay taxes on everything you make. But it's just, I want to be able to stay in this business long term, which is why I'm still working on how to perfect each part of the process. In fact, what I'm currently doing right now is I'm working on, this might take me a very long time to find, as I mentioned, another niche we could get into. Yes, I'm only able to upload 3 books a day, so bear with me. I don't know how I'm going to approach this yet, but it will take a while for me to find actually what that niche is. That's another golden nugget or similar, okay? So I am always looking to be better in all the things it takes to make a good KDP book, KDP account. Because while other people continue to enter the market, in my niche that I'm in, I don't want some people will beat me, sure, but I don't want to die down. Because if I can make, for example, and that's my goal, I don't know what my goal is 100%. I would be thrilled if by the end of this year, when 2024, it could go up to 20 grand a month. I think for sure that's going to happen. So I probably should do a higher goal, but nonetheless, that'll be fantastic. Can we agree? I think so. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up. Comment below if you have any other questions. I feel like I forgot all of them. Comment below if you think my medicine is affecting my speech and my thoughts. If you know me, obviously you know me. The last couple of videos don't reflect my previous self, but maybe 4, 5, 6 videos ago and later is myself. And of course, if you guys know me from Facebook Lives, if you're in my group, then you probably know. And so I'll be interested in your thoughts. I could review with my doctor. Thank you. See you later. Bye.